And I'm just going to text Yolanda and let her know. So we're back. Hello, everybody. I apologize. My internet cut out, and such is the life of streaming online. So what were y'all talking about? Sounds like a great conversation.
Yeah, we were talking about what how the book started with one script, really, of what we were looking to do, and then we got into it and started telling the stories, and it really took on a life of its own, really became its own piece of art, if you will, as the stories developed. And Jen was really played a key role in that, because she, as the editor, helped to tame that beast, so to speak, and make sure that we connected the stories in a way that was super practical and empowering and useful to the reader, to accomplish the goals of the book. So we did a lot of the same things. We just created it more, I think, more beautifully and than we had planned. And yeah, once you put Roundtable on the team, it's going to take it to a whole new level.
It was so fun, though, because as you were sort of revealing these different pieces of your story, which at the time you may not have even realized were pivotal moments in your story, as we would talk about them and they would get revealed, one would slowly tie into the next. And then we would try to choose those really, like, those moments that change us as humans, right? The moments that define us. And I will always, for as long as I live, remember being on the phone with you, talking about, being at the farmer's market, and just so random, you're like, right, but there was this one moment when I died. And then you just kept it going. As though just like you had gotten a new sweater. And then I died. But after that, it would go on. We're on the other end of the phone being like, I think we're going to have to come back to that and talk a little bit more about that moment. It was so great. But yeah, you try to sit down and have conversations and really just talk about life and see what comes up, because I think, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Kari, but I don't think people kind of just necessarily wake up and decide they want to be a leader, right? I think they are born leaders in their own way, and it's 100 little moments that end up creating where you're at right now. So it was fun to try to pull apart some of those moments and highlight them in your book.
Well, I don't know how you did it, burn me over the head.
Not even a little bit.
We might even be in private chat right now until Maria gets
I don't even know. Are we? It says live on the corner, but I can't tell. Hello, internet. If you're stuck with just the two of us, we apologize.
Yeah. Just email her.
What was the best part of your day today, Kari?
Yeah, I think watching the joy that everybody had to push this one over the finish line. It was pretty amazing. And that was what I really wanted it to be. I wanted it to be, to give credit to everybody that really had a part in this. And so I'm glad you could be here with me tonight, because we had only so much room during the day for our 1 hour of that today. But it was just so wonderful. My friends afterwards were texting me and thanking me, and it was just the joy on their faces. And they were talking about the joy they saw on Corey's face.
That dance party at the end was everything. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah, that was pretty fun when we're together. And the cool thing, I don't know how long you stayed on at the end, but there's actually like a blooper and a cutout at the end, because I guess like entrepreneurs, we just started creating what we were going to do next, right? I was like, let's jump on Instagram Live. And here they had just talked about me. So there's an Instagram Live out there too with Tammy and all of us. And here they're talking about me overcoming every obstacle in the world and these difficult things. And I could not get on my Instagram. And they're texting me like, you need to update it. Go here, do here. So I finally got on, and it was that was just a lot of fun too, where we could share that moment and continue on. And even the guy that we met at the speaker clinic showed up at Patty's place, him and his wife. And so it was just, the thing of it is, it was just the serendipity around everything that happened. It was just, like always, it's so beautiful, and it's confirming that universe is feeding back to you, the good vibes that you're sending out. So that was the funnest part, I guess. Making the bestseller list, I had hoped that, but it isn't, I didn't try to write the book to make the bestseller list. I tried to write the book, and we worked so hard to just tell the best story so that the reader could really embody it, right?
Marie, we have a friend's story from this morning, actually. One of the things that Kari and I have talked about a lot over the course of writing her book is how numbers keep popping up. Anytime we'd be on the phone, it would always be at 111 or 1111 or 1101. And this would consistently happen over and over and over again. And sure enough, this morning on her book launch, I'm watching her speak, and I look up at the clock and it says 1111 on the top of my computer. So I take a screen capture and sent it. I'm like, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
Oh, that's so awesome. That is so awesome. So you guys ended with a dance party.
Epic dance party.
Yes.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Amazing. So Kari, tell us a little bit about your company. Because I know part of your giveaway was the coffee and tea singles.
Sure. So my company is called Earthkind, and I started this company after spending about a year on my back after this death experience that Jen was talking about, where I was like, oh, and then I died.
No biggie, but I just died.
Spent a year on my back, and I just really took deep stock of everything in my life and what my actual purpose was. And I thought back really to when I was 5 years old, where the book starts, when I woke up to that. And I started constructing a plan, and I just kept hearing over and over and over again, open your heart to a kinder earth, lift your spirit to a higher place, and destiny will knock. And it just wouldn't go away, and it just kept coming and coming until finally I really did something about it. And I took the most painful problem that I was having on the farm, as mice getting into our stuff. They were causing damage. We had nothing. There was nothing we could do. It was causing me tears and stress and fighting and you name it. But there wasn't a safe, effective, affordable way out there to keep the mice out of our equipment and our tractors and combines and all of that. So I invented a product that would do that. And I borrowed that from nature. I say nature invented it, but I commercialized it, brought it to market. I don't have one right in front of me here, but I can go grab one. The product is called Fresh Cab. It ultimately ended up being the first botanical rodent repellent to get federally registered by the EPA, which means that it meets the highest level of efficacy. That it's not snake oil. It truly does work. It's independently reviewed. All the science studies were submitted. So then I ended up basically growing it from nothing. I had no experience. I had no background. I had not anything that I knew how to do, but I did know how to gather the right people at the table. That's ultimately how the book ended up getting its title, because it was going to be harvesting the seeds of life. And because it very much, you know, went along those lines too. But it's so important. You don't have to have anything when you start a business. You just a purpose, and figuring out how to make that happen. And I knew that 98% of everything sold for pest control was toxic and inhumane. And I knew that people might want a better option. I know I did. And not everybody can afford to call a pest control company. And 20% of the population can call, and they know what they're doing. They know how to take poisons and use just a little bit and make it safe. But the average homeowner doesn't know how to do that. And all of the how-tos, there was nothing out there. So today last I look, I think we have 31% share of voice on Google. Wow. For pest control. And it's pretty remarkable because we're still a very small business in the big scheme of things. But we started very early, way before anybody else did, doing the right thing. Not just something to make money and make the sale, but it was very intentional that we started to educate people that, okay, if you cover the dog food, you're probably, 90% of that problem is going to go away if you use caulking and weather stripping. And so that's how it got started. And over the years, people started asking for more stuff. And at first it was like, no, I don't do spiders. They gross me out. I don't want anything to do with spiders. And then I got bit by a brown recluse, almost died. And I still didn't do anything. A year later, I got bit again on the same spot on the other leg. And I'm like, okay, Kari, the universe is screaming at you now. You need to do something. And so that's really how how our products are developed. And this year, within a month, we're releasing a cockroach repellent, which is another real industry first, because cockroaches are in about 60% of homes.
Yep.
And they go into areas where there's food and they're communal, and they can really cause a lot of problems. You don't want them in your house. So we're pretty excited about that, and doing it in a way that doesn't, it's not a spray. It's a little, I'll have to get one here. It's a little sachet, and it will just keep them out. It drives them out on their own. You don't have to do anything. Just set it down and then do all the preventive things like, clean the area and seal, and that will drive them out and prevent them from coming back in.
I know there's a big market for that in New York. I mean, having lived in apartment buildings and things, it's there's a big market for humane treatment of insects. So, and I love that the universe. I'm sorry you got bitten by a brown recluse. Oh my gosh, but I love that the universe was like, take care of this problem, right?
So this is the first product here, Fresh Cab, and then it's a little sachet like that. So about fist size.
Yeah.
And the reason all of this happened, again, if you read the book, but you'll see these things, it was I wanted something that could be a zero carbon footprint, which we're certified. And I wanted something cruelty-free. We're certified cruelty-free. I wanted some support the farms around us. So we started locally and then had a cottage industry, and now we're expanding all over the place. But it's all growing really from the purpose. And the interesting things, I didn't have to change the business model as time went on. We were able to get bigger, but that's something really interesting about a purpose-driven business. There isn't as many ups and downs when it comes to shifts and changes through the growth, because you weave it in and you build the business and the structure of that business around the purpose.
Right. Awesome. Well, gathering around the table, and I love the title because I think that it you get the image, right? You get the image of loved ones around the table, and especially in a business context, I think that's so needed. So thank you for this book. Thank you for hitting the bestseller list today. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And thank you for
I think that calls for chocolate lava cake. You can read about that in one of the chapters when we got our
Yes, it does.
registration. So
Do you
Jen
want to
and
tell us about the chocolate lava cake? Because now I have a craving.
so I made a mug chocolate lava cake here.
Yeah, me too.
But when we
Nice.
so when we got our EPA registration signed, I was with Jim, and to celebrate, we ordered a chocolate lava cake, and it was just, became a way to celebrate ever since then. So I only pull it out for really big things. So it's like, Jen, let's hope we make bestseller list so we can have chocolate lava cake tonight. So
And now you have it.
So wonderful.
I should have sent you a little packet or something, Marie.
I will not say no to chocolate lava cake. That's so I have.
The last thing is the book launch club too. We're giving away. We have some biodegradable coffee cups, different types of coffee and tea. So there's tea to like calm you down or speed you up, and a coupon too for 20% off Earthkind products. So if anybody wants to join that, it's not too late. You can continue to sign up for that, and I will personally pack it, and we'll get those sent out to you.
And I'll drop the link to sign up for that, and we'll keep, as long as you wanted to keep it up there, we'll keep it up there. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. That's really great. So Roundtable Companies has a card game called Vulnerability is Sexy, and they basically there are icebreaker questions, there are vulnerable questions. It's a really great way to get to know people. So I like to end for folks who work with RTC. I like to end with a vulnerability is sexy question, and this is an icebreaker question. So I'd love for both of you to answer it, and if you're willing, and I'd love for anybody in the chat who wants to share to answer it. So the card that I pulled is, what's the story of your first name, and do you feel it suits you?
I feel like there's a story there, Kari, based on your reaction.
Well, yeah, I do. My name I was born Kari. And yeah, Lady Grandma said you're Kari because this is America. And so we had the two grandmas going, no, it's Kari, no, it's Kari, no, it's Kari, no, it's Kari. And so I eventually adopted in the whole family, and it was like the two grandmas were fighting over what it was going to be. And so it was pretty Scandinavian. It was Kari Hovenvik. So, yeah. So now I do have friends that still call me Kari, that know the story, and they kind of get a laugh out of it. How about you, Jen?
Oh, gosh. So my name came about. So it's actually Genevieve Victoria, but that gets slaughtered a lot, and it's really hard for people to say most of the time. So they just call me Jen. But my parents were sure I was going to be a boy, and so they had picked a boy's name, which I don't remember what it was supposed to be, but they could not for the life of them decide on a girl's name. And then the night before my mom went into labor, they were at a movie, and it had Genevieve Bujold in the film, acting in the film. And I guess they both just looked at each other and were like, that's what her name's going to be. And it's actually Gaelic for white wave. And then Victoria is after my grandmother, her name is Victoria, and she was born on Victoria Day. So my daughter has the same middle name as well.
Awesome. I love name stories. And I'll say, Jen, that my favorite aunt growing up, her name was Aunt Jen, and Anne, and her name was Genevieve, right? And we called her Aunt Jen. So you're the only other Genevieve. Is that how it's?
Yeah. Well, I grew up in like southwestern Ontario, though, so there weren't any francophones there. And so I think that's why I didn't think my name suited me at the time, because nobody could say it properly But then when I moved to Ottawa to go to school, it's all Francophone. We're right along the border of Quebec here. So everybody is super familiar with it. I think that helped me grow into my name a little bit, being around people who knew how to pronounce it. So it's
Awesome.
much more common around here.
Cool. Looks pretty dang cool in writing too.
Thank you.
You know, and the benefit of having a unique name is that there's nobody else out there, right? That has your name. So
you totally get your Facebook profile handle, whatever you want, because no one else has it.
Well, thank you both for being here, and thank you for continuing on when my internet decided to go rogue. But so.
You totally held down the fort.
Awesome. Seems like it. I see lots of great comments. I would love to hear from you all. Kari, let us know how can we get in touch with you if people want to get in touch with you.
So you can go to my website, which is kariwarbergblock.com. We'll put a link in there. If you go to the book page, you can find where to order the book. Please order it. Order it if you know an entrepreneur, even if you know people that aren't entrepreneurs that just need to pivot during, after COVID, because we're in the betwixt and in between of where we were, where we're going. And imagination and innovation and creativity and collaboration are really what's going to help us all going forward. So I think the book is going to serve out its purpose. It's its own thing. And thank you, Jen, because this would not be a bestseller if it wasn't for you.
Oh, thank you, Kari. Congratulations. Such a great day.
Yeah. Congratulations to you both. I'm honored to be on this journey with both of you, and I'm glad we announced it here. So thank you for that. So get the book for those of you who are watching now. For those of you who are watching later, get the book. It's awesome. What a great story. Kari has a great story, and have a great Wednesday. I'm going to put the link in the chat for your giveaway. So thank you for offering that to our listeners here. And I will see you all later. This has been Coffee with Entrepreneurs Live.
Thank you. Love you, Jen.